y'all. If you're watching the replay, you already know that I have to do my little magic. So give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I hope y'all doing well. I gotta wait for me to pop up on my Facebook in order for me to do my magic and do my shares. Because I don't like to do them from the studio. We are what, 5 days until the holiday, until Christmas. Whoop, whoop. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Let me see if I popped up yet. I haven't popped up yet. So I gotta wait. I gotta wait. And then after I share, there I am. Then after I share, we can go live. Today's gonna be good. It's the Rip Van Winkle effect. What talents are you allowing to idly sleep away? Because last week I did not go live last week. If y'all noticed, I'm gonna tell a story, but I fell asleep. I sat on the sofa, and when I woke up again, it was 1:46 a.m. So today's message is today's message is going to be inspired by my falling asleep last week with a great message on my heart, which I'll share next week, I guess. So let me share this real quick. And then we'll get started. I'm going to get me a cute one of those like little countdown clocks. So I don't have to just ramble through. But hold on. Hey, hey. Oh no, that's the wrong page. That's the wrong page. But y'all just hang in there with me, hang in there with me, hang in there with me. The Rip Van Winkle reflection. That's what it is. The Rip Van Winkle reflection. What talents are you letting sleep through life? It's gonna be good because I slept through last week. I was ready too. I just sat on the sofa. I said, well, let me sit down for a minute. I got a minute before I go live. Let me sit down for a minute. And it was 1:46 a.m. Y'all, I woke up. I was so discombobulated and just boop. So if you're watching on the replay, please type replay to let me know that you're on the replay. If you are watching live while I'm doing all this sharing to other pages, if you could just say hi, that would be amazing. Then we can have a little dialogue going. And I'm almost done. And then, yeah, I think over the holiday break, although I don't really get a break, I'm an entrepreneur, but over the holiday break, I am going to create a nice little countdown with like some music or something. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Last page, paste, share now. I am ready to go. Are you ready to go? Yeah. Okay. Oh, and let me go live on Instagram. Woo! If you're watching live, send me some love. Say hi. I can see your comments. Say hi to me. I don't know what's happening on Instagram, but I'm just going to have to wait. I don't know what's going on Instagram. We've never had this happen before. Okay. Well, Instagram will pop on when it's going to pop on. It'll come through when it's going to come through. How y'all doing? Hey, Amira. Hey, thanks for saying hi. So I don't feel like I'm all out here by myself. Oh, man. I messed up on Instagram. So this is why I need a countdown and an assistant. I can't even say it. The Rip Van Winkle reflection. What talents are you allowing to sleep through life? I ain't put all that on the Instagram because it's just checking connection. Come on, be a little faster with it then. Be a little faster. You're now live. Thank you, Instagram. Finally, yay. All right, those of you watching live, like I said, send me some love. If you're watching in replay, type replay. This is going to be a great message. The Rip Van Winkle reflection. What talents are you allowing to sleep through life? So like I said, last week, I was ready last week. I had a great message last week. And I had actually thought it through beforehand. So I said, well, let me sit down. I got some time. Let me sit down and kind of like, formulate how the message is going to go. And before you knew it, I guess I was formulating a lot because I fell asleep. And when I woke up again, it was 1:46 a.m. So I missed last week. And so I wasn't inconsistent. I just slept through that part of my life. Um, and so today I was like, well, I got to explain to people that I fell asleep, especially a couple of people did hit me up to say you didn't go live. And so I was like, well, I need to let people know why I didn't go live. It's about consistency. And if you're going to share a message and all of that, like, make sure you're consistent, right? And so I said, well, if I'm talking about that, I kind of felt like Rip Van Winkle. I said it to myself. It was like, oh, this is like the Rip Van Winkle effect because I fell asleep. And I said, oh, well, let me look up his story, right? Let's talk about Rip Van Winkle a little bit, because how many of us are both consciously and unconsciously sleeping through life, right? Like, we feel like, I was telling someone this the other day. I said, with the job that I used to do, working for the homeless, is a great thing to do, right? So yeah, I was making money at it too, but that's a nice type of give back type of job, right? Especially when you look at the fact that, like, my clients loved me because they realized that I really was in it for them. I wasn't necessarily in it just for the money. Please pay me, thank you. But I was in it really to help them, and they could recognize that. And um we kind of do jobs like that, and we step into positions like that, and you can kind of start to walk away a little bit from your purpose and what it is you're intended to do. um hey lady, misunderstood, I don't like to say that name. But whew, but you can kind of have that job and think that you're like in the right place, and sometimes you're not. Like, sometimes you're doing a job where your purpose on the inside of you is really directing you to where you're supposed to be, but you've allowed yourself to believe that you're in the right place because you're doing something. And it's a word I'm stumbling because it's a word I keep trying to force my brain to come up with, and it won't come. But you're like, ugh, it's not a give back, but you're in a position, where you are being altruistic, kind of, even though you're getting paid. Please pay me. But I wasn't necessarily where I was supposed to be, but I was in a place where I was able to do some of the things that I was supposed to do. So with my clients, it was never really just about housing them for me. It was always about re-empowering them to understand who they are, what they were built for, what they were intended for, the strengths that were on the inside of them. It was so many that I would say to them, you may feel like you're in a position right now where your life is just like completely falling apart, but you are in the best place right now for a comeback. If you think about the trajectory from the bottom, right? What's that song? We started from the bottom, now we're here. How do you get there? You're at the bottom. There's a trajectory that happens when you bounce from the bottom, as opposed to the middle. When you launch anything, you notice you get more bang for your buck when you launch it from a position further back, because the air can kind of carry it a little bit. So I would kind of re-empower them to understand where they were and who they were. But I was kind of in a position where I was allowing myself to believe that I was doing the right thing and that I was being the best person that I was intended to be. And I was doing this great thing and working in this great field, but it wasn't necessarily where I was supposed to be. So my talents, they were kind of sleeping, even though I was forcing the issue by, what is it? My brain won't work today. Come on, brain, think it through, by helping them to empower themselves and to transform their lives. I still wasn't necessarily in the right place, and you could be doing a great thing but be in the wrong place, right? You could be doing the right thing at the wrong time in the wrong place, and then wonder why your blessings aren't like they're supposed to be, right? So you feel like you're in the midst of a transition, as in different levels of learning. Yeah, and that's okay. And all of us should be in different levels of transition when it comes to learning, right? So if you're the smartest person in the room, find another room. And if you're afraid to approach people smarter than you, you're never going to get anywhere. I love to reach out to people who are smarter than me, and who know more than I do, because I want to learn more. I'm so nosy that I kind of want to know everything, right? But so anyway, so I was in this, I was in there, I was doing a great thing. but just in the wrong place at the wrong time, because that's not where I was supposed to be. And so just like last week when I fell asleep on the sofa and woke up at 1:46 a.m., I should play those numbers. I don't even play the lottery. 146. If y'all play 146 and y'all hit, cut me a check. I'm just saying, because if I find out, we're gonna have some problems. But that's another story. So um the Rip Van Winkle reflection. So I looked up the story of Rip Van Winkle. And the story, when you read the story of Rip Van Winkle, it talks about this really smart guy. He was not a lazy guy at all. He was very good at helping other people grow their crops, helping other people fix the things that they needed to fix. But when it came to his own life, he couldn't do those things in his own life. It seemed like his life fell apart. Who else am I speaking to? Because when I read that, I was like, ooh, golly, that's kind of like cutting a little close, right? Because you feel like I can empower so many other people. And then when it comes to me, it's just like, what just happened? But I always say you teach that what you most need to learn. And so the things that we teach, if you are following somebody on social media or in life and they are your guru, you see the air quotes, the guru for you, you have to realize that their lives are not perfect, and they can position their life to look perfect all they want. But really, Eastern philosophy, to me, is true. You teach that which you most need to learn. And so Rip Van Winkle was able to do so much for other people, things that he could not do for himself. And his wife was nagging him all the time, Dame Van Winkle. She was nagging him all the time to stay home. He used to like try to escape. He would take his dog and go to the local pub. And at the pub, he would hang out with the other philosophers and, the quiet men who just wanted to sit, and they were probably escaping their wives too. And, they would just sit and like shoot the ish and talk about life. And his wife found him there one day and kind of embarrassed him in front of his friends and was like, you don't need to be hanging out with these people. Like, they're bringing you down. They want to sit and waste their lives away. Don't waste your life. Come home and do some stuff. But for him, because he wasn't a lazy person, this is me now interpreting and philosophizing what I think. Philosophizing, that's right. Whatever. He was doing something. This is me like trying to make it something that I see. But I think for him, because he was so good at his job, because he was so good, I like to say that I'm a Jackie of all trades and a master of some, right? But those of us who feel like we can almost do everything, when it doesn't come together the right way, you kind of like go into this dreamer phase. Like, I'm an avid dreamer. Like, I'm a dreamer. And I can sit on I don't sleep a lot, thanks military, but I don't really sleep a lot, but I daydream a lot. I put myself in positions a lot. I remember once telling, my readjustment counselor through the military, I was like, I feel like I'm living in this other existence because I daydream a lot and I've created this world. And he was like, that is normal. That is what we're supposed to do. So don't take that the wrong way. But I think, just like me, I think Rip Van Winkle, now we know that he was a not real character, but we're gonna make him real today. So I think Rip Van Winkle was also the same. It was like, because he was so good at everything that he did for other people, and he couldn't figure it out for himself, that he would daydream a lot, and he didn't want to be in a place where he felt like a failure around a wife that was nagging him to be better when he knew he could be better. Like, he knew he could be better. I know I am the better. I see it when I do it for other people. Why won't my crops grow? Why can't I fix stuff around our house? Why can't I find peace at my own house? And so once she embarrassed him at the pub and he couldn't hang out there anymore, he took his dog and his shotgun and he went out into the Catskills and he wanted to just find a place for peace. He probably just wanted to be able to daydream in peace. Last week, when I sat on the sofa, I wanted to find a spot in my house where I could daydream in peace. I don't sleep and I don't believe in naps. I think naps are weird and they make me cranky. If I'm ever around you and I take a nap, don't talk to me when I wake up. Let me just say that, because I'm not right. It's like, I don't even understand what happened. Like, who falls asleep in the middle of the day? That's so weird, right? So, and y'all probably fall asleep in the middle of the day. Y'all weird. But I sat on that sofa, not the intention to fall asleep. That does not happen to me. And I fell asleep. 1:46 a.m. I woke up like, what the hell happened? Thankfully, I had already cooked. My daughter ate. She didn't wake me up. Like, nobody woke me up. I didn't even eat. I just put the food away and, went to bed. And then I sat upstairs and played games because I couldn't fall back to sleep. But, um, oh, how could you have patience with yourself and yeah, with everybody and not yourself? Yeah, it's the Rip Van Winkle reflection, right? We could do so many things for other people that we can't do it for ourselves. Mary, you said you don't do naps either. You wish you could. I don't even know if I wish I could, because when I wake up, they make me feel like I don't own me anymore. I think like I'm still in that world. So I'll daydream my whole day away. But don't make me fall asleep. I don't want to do that. And maybe that's why I'm asleep. Maybe because maybe I'm afraid of sleeping. I don't know. But so anyway, so Rip Van Winkle goes into the Catskills and he's sitting, he finds this tree and he's going to sit at this tree, but then he sees this man. And this man has some other people with him. I forgot the man's name, Henry something. But this man was kind of like a uh magi, but he wasn't a magi. I'm thinking magi, but it's the wrong word for that time. But he was kind of like this magician of sorts, and he gives Rip Van Winkle this elixir to drink, and Rip drinks it. Rip, we're on first name basis, y'all. That's my boy. So Rip drinks the elixir, and then he goes and sits at this tree, and he falls asleep for 20 years. He falls into a daydream for 20 years. That is the danger of a nap. You fall asleep for 20 years and you wake up all discombobulated. I think that's probably why I don't take naps. I probably read that Rip Van Winkle story when I was younger. I was like, you ain't getting me. You ain't catching me. So he wakes up. He's a little out of it. He looks down. Remember, he took his shotgun. So he looks down at his shotgun. It's all rusted out. The dog gone. He looks around. Everything looks different. He goes. He finds out his wife has died. His kids are grown. The men he used to hang around with are gone. And his whole life has changed. The political climate has changed. It's like everything has changed. Tina, you said I need to daydream in peace. Right. I need time to daydream in peace too. And sometimes and I look like a people person because I talk a lot, but I don't always be around, I'm not well around people. So I gotta find them hidden corners. Hey, Matt Black Monster. I gotta find those hidden places in order to be able to, sleep. And sometimes it just catch me. Boop, you sit down and you Rip Van Winkle, right? And so Rip Van Winkle's whole life has changed. His whole existence has changed. Everything around him has changed. You would think that when he woke up from this 20-year nap, that he would have said to himself, I missed some things. I messed up some things. I've had time to ruminate over a lot of things. And let me see if I can fix my life. What'd he do? Well, first of all, he didn't know anybody in the town. They found, because he looked just like his son, whose name was Rip Van Winkle, they were able to connect him to a son, grown son, who connected him to his daughter. And his daughter, he moved in with his daughter. And guess what he did? He just found different men to do the same thing, to sit there and idle his life away. So the Rip Van Winkle reflection: what talents are you allowing to just sleep? How in your life are you being idle? And I like to say idle for no reason, right? Because at the end of the day, he had the greatest lesson out of anybody in the world. You wake up, your whole life has changed. Wouldn't you want to change too? So before we have these moments that we sit on the sofa and fall asleep for 20 years. I felt like it was 20 years. Who snatched me that night and made me go to sleep? I have no idea. I don't even do that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I slept on this sofa for 7 hours. I slept more than I sleep at night in that one position on the sofa. Just fell asleep. Boop. Who does that? Right? Did I need it? Was the universe trying to give me a message? Were the spirits trying to talk to me? Like, what happened that night? But when I woke up, I realized that something needed to change because it took me off course for something that I told myself that I was going to do every Sunday. I was not allowed last Sunday to go live. And you know what? I woke up and I was so irritated that I was like, I'm going to go live now. Who up at 146 besides me? I wasn't going live at 146. Plus, I was, you sleep. I was looking greasy. I mean, I'm looking to look greasy now, but I was, man, and I was not going to do nothing, no makeup, no. I was just going to go live mad, fell asleep mad, you know. But I wanted change. And I realized that I had to make sure, I have to do something to make sure that moving forward, that never happens again, right? That nothing is allowed to pull me off of a course that I set for myself. So the Rip Van Winkle reflection is to teach us we shouldn't wake up from a 20-year nap. We shouldn't wake up from a 20-year deficit, a 2-year deficit. When you look at your life and you look at the dreams that you have and the things that have not come true and the things that we haven't birthed into existence yet, we should be mad anytime we are robbed of time or days. We should be looking for a way to push ourselves forward into the dream and not into the same complacency that we had before. Rip Van Winkle woke up and decided to stay complacent. Who does that? My Instagram just keeps freezing. But who does that? Come on, be honest with yourself. Be like right now, be honest with yourself and ask yourself, have I allowed myself to stay complacent? If you have, if you've allowed yourself to stay complacent, the question is, what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do to make sure that complacency doesn't continue to guide your life so that you're not continuing to live within the Rip Van Winkle reflection? That's not a reflection I want to live in. That's not a reflection I want to be in. Last week, again, falling asleep inspired this message of today. And I'm so glad it did because I was able to read that story differently than I ever have before. I kind of read that story like Rip Van Winkle was a lazy person. He was not a lazy person. He was very good at his hands. Whatever he did touch with his hands that wasn't for him, he was good at. I think he was frustrated. So he tried to escape his life. Are you frustrated? Are you trying to escape your life? Are you working a job that sounds good on paper and sounds good at heart, but is not where you're supposed to be? Is the reflection that you're putting out to the world different from the one that you hold in your heart? I don't want to sleep through the purpose that I'm intended to birth into this world. I'm not a lazy person. Are you lazy? Right? Come on, be honest. Are you a lazy people? Are you a lazy person? Because if the answer is no, but you're finding yourself being idle, then we need to find out why. I'll move that. Maybe that'll help. But we need to figure out why. Why is it that the things that I do for others, if I'm working a job, I can be very, very good at my job. I was amazing at that job. They ain't like me. And that's why. They ain't like me because I did my job well and I pushed and they like complacency and I didn't. But I wasn't supposed to be there. But I could do that well. So why am I not going to then take that same zhuzh and inspiration and influence and use it for myself? I have to be able to use that for me. I have to be able to use that for myself. I don't want to wake up from the nightmares of not living my dreams to the fullest and then find a reason to go to sleep all over again. There's a song, I don't know why this just came up, but one of my favorite songs by John Mayer is When You're Dreaming with a Broken Heart. When you're dreaming with a broken heart. I love that song. And I think when you look at the Rip Van Winkle reflection, people who wake up from their failures and choose to still be idle are those people whose hearts are broken. and you're continuing to dream and you're continuing to see this big life and this big existence and all these things that you want to have, but your heart is broken, and so you're unable to find the inspiration that you need on the inside of you to push you into this new existence. Are you dreaming with a broken heart? Because sometimes when you're dreaming with a broken heart, it's the pushing forward that's the hardest part. And that's not what he says in the song. I just added that. So John Mayer, if you're listening, you can change your song and you can use that line and I will not sue you. Maybe. I don't know how I feel tomorrow. But I think dreaming with a broken heart is like one of the biggest things that people don't pay attention to. Because most people think that it's one or the other. You're either dreaming or you have a broken heart. If you have a broken heart, people think that you've stopped thinking about anything. But no, you're still dreaming, right? And you're still hoping and wishing, because there's a dreamer on the inside of us. Whether we ever think about it or not, purpose is always going to seek that which it was intended to do. It's always going to push us to be the highest being that we were intended to be. And so even in our mess ups and our failures and our non-successes, I don't necessarily like to say that everything was a failure, but maybe it just wasn't successful at that moment. Maybe you had some other stuff that you could have done or should have done or would have done, and you just didn't do it. Tamika, you said it's the conditioning of 8 years. What does that mean? But you can dream and have a broken heart. And what usually happens is if you have a broken heart and you're dreaming, you're not going to feel inspired or compelled necessarily to go after your dream. Sorry, y'all, my computer froze. You're not going to feel inspired or compelled to go after your dream because you're in a low level energetic space. Y'all know I talk about this all the time. I'm looking. I don't have a pen or anything over here, but I have some glasses, some little phony glasses. You put them on to see what I look like. Okay, so I'll use the glasses. So, all energy has an opposite, right? And so usually when you're feeling something, everything that you're feeling is in the opposite area. And in order to flip it, you have to change your energy to the other side of that opposite, right? So you have to be willing to live on the opposite side of what you're thinking. So if you're happy, then that means you could quickly feel sad at any moment, right? And so if you have a broken heart, that means you're living in the sadness and you need to do some work just to flip yourself to the happy. And so when you're dreaming with a broken heart, you're in the low level energy, right? You're in the space where, I do the bear analogy a lot, where it's like belief, emotion, action, result. So if you have a broken heart and you say to yourself, I want to write 3 books by the end of this year, but your heart is broken, then that means your emotion is low level energy. Your action is going to be just sitting on the sofa, falling asleep for 20 years or 6 hours, to 1:46 a.m. And the result will be you won't have any books. But if you say, I want to write 3 books by the end of the year, and you're in that space of high level energy, like you flipped it from the sadness to the happy, or the high level energy, then the emotion is going to be super high. And with super high energy and with that belief being super high, then your action is going to be, you're going to continue to push forward because you have all of the emotional currency that you need to push yourself to a higher level. And then your result will be 9 times out of 10, you're going to have your books, or you're going to be really, really close to having your books because you kept pushing yourself. And so when you just remember, if you're dreaming, but you have a broken heart, you have to do the work to remove that feeling of brokenness. I don't even like to say that we're broken people, but you have to remove that feeling of brokenness, or like the Japanese, you have to be willing to aggrandize it. You have to be willing to fill all of those broken spaces with gold. I was talking to my son earlier and we were talking about this. You have to be willing to look at the things that you have done right and allow those things to settle in your brain and to keep bringing them up. When you have those thoughts in your mind and that negative self-talk pop up to try to tell you what you are not and what you can't have and what you can't do, Remind yourself of the successes that you've had so that you'll have something to hold on to and hold on tight until you get yourself back to the side of the high level energy. You're here and sometimes you got to travel to get to that other side. And sometimes it's instant. Poof. If you're doing the work, it could be instant. But if you're not doing the work and you're pulling yourself up, if you will, by your bootstraps, then you have to be willing to give yourself what you need to see. Give yourself a different reflection, not the Rip Van Winkle reflection, where because you have a broken heart, then it's okay to just idle your talents away. Let's not idle our talents away. Let's not idle our energy away. Let's wake up to life. Let's be on a higher plane, higher level energy. So, Tamika, you say you find yourself in survival mode. Yeah, yeah. So that's your conditioning for the last 8 years. You've been in survival mode for 8 years, girl. You tired. I can tell you that you tired. Being in survival mode means you are fighting every day. You don't even have a position of peace. Let's get some peace that passes all understanding. Let's get some peace. But yeah, the Rip Van Winkle reflection. We have to get to a place where we are able to dream in a place where our hearts are healed and healthy, where we believe we can have whatever it is we attempt to achieve, and we continue to push ourselves forward. Because again, I used to think that Rip Van Winkle was just lazy. It was like, oh, you fall asleep for 20 years, you just wanted to sleep. That's lazy. But no, he was just idle. He couldn't get his life to work at home. His wife wasn't understanding that, and she kept pushing him into something that he himself didn't understand. So I think he was looking for an escape. And then once he came back 20 years later, again, you would think that would have been his impetus to change his life and to finally make some things happen. But nope, he went on back to doing the same thing because he's probably overwhelmed again. Not making excuses for old Rip, but come on. We get overwhelmed. And when you get overwhelmed, what do? Nothing. Sit on the sofa and watch Hallmark Channel. I'm talking about myself because that's the only channel I watch. So besides, Grey's Anatomy. But watching Hallmark Channel, we sit on the sofa. Or like last Sunday when I was supposed to go live and I was ready to go live and waiting, and I sat on the sofa and fell asleep till 1:46 a.m. just out of the blue. Who takes naps? Not I, said the cat. Fell asleep. But yeah, so the Rip Van Winkle reflection. What talents are you allowing to idly pass you by, to sleep your lives away? All because you can't figure out that magic sweet spot. I can do this for everybody else. I could do this at a job. If I have a job, I wake up and I go and I'm productive at that job because I want my paycheck. Right? So what's the payoff for you? If you do the things that you need to do for yourself, ask yourself, what's the payoff? What are you allowing yourself to have? My clients know, any client that I work with, I tell them, celebrate you, celebrate yourself, celebrate your successes. Don't just take them as, well, it's supposed to happen. Yeah, technically they are supposed to happen. But if you know you've been in a place where it's been hard to build yourself back up, celebrate you. Every time you do something that is successful, semi-successful, hell, you got up off the couch, celebrate that. Clap for yourself if nobody else will. I make my clients stand up, and I do everything by phone, no video, because I need them to believe that I can't see them so that they can participate, but I can hear. Stand up, clap, celebrate. Woo! Let me hear. Let me hear you as if you are at a Rockets game or a Bears game, cheering your head off for a team that will never acknowledge or pay you. We do the most for sports teams. We do the least for ourselves. So let's learn to change our reflection. Let's learn to see in ourselves the things that were on pause, the things that were up against the tree and asleep. It's time to wake some things up in our lives, shake some things up. And the most important part of this, if a stranger walks up and offers you something to drink, say no. They're trying to put you to sleep for 20 years. I don't want that. I have a thing anyway. Like, I don't always take stuff from people because I immediately think, did you poison it? I mean, I don't know what that is, but I don't want your stuff. But thank you anyway. Keep it to yourself. Oh, you bought that for me? You baked that for me? Okay, thank you so much. Let me take it home. People make me nervous. You may be trying to put me to sleep forever or for some time. I choose not to be Rip Van Winkle. And if I have been, I choose not to be him any longer. Because now it's time to pay attention. What things am I good at that I can make happen for everybody else and not for myself? And why can't I make them happen for myself? What am I not doing? But sitting in a peaceful place, daydreaming my life away? No, can't do that. Sitting up against a tree, sleeping our talents away? No, can't do that. And if this is the day, if this is the day, if this is the message on the day where you finally wake up to self and you say to yourself, oh my gosh, that's been me. Now it's time to do something different. Don't do what Rip did. Don't wake up and then go back into the same life and the same existence. Allow this period of sleep to push you into the things that you need and the things that you crave at your deepest levels. And it can be overwhelming when we know we have the goods and we have the stuff and we can't make it come to pass, when we can't figure it out. It can feel overwhelming. But don't give in to the overwhelm. Overwhelm is natural. That's why we have so many systems on the inside of us to fight those type of feelings. That whole parasympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, all of that is designed because our reptilian brain knows that it's going to face overwhelm. And so it's natural. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean you allow it to just, take root and take hold, but it's a natural thing to come up. And the homeostatic process in our bodies is cool with it. Like homeostasis is like, girl, we ain't gotta do nothing. It's all right. We'll figure it out later. That's the Rip Van Winkle reflection. The homeostatic process in your body that allows things to stay the same because it cannot handle change is the Rip Van Winkle reflection. So let's do the work. Let's wake up to self and let's push ourselves forward. And even though he didn't like the nagging wife, find you a group of friends and some people who not necessarily will nag you, but will stay with you. How you doing today? What we doing today? Did we accomplish that goal? To know, did you wake up at 5:30? Did you get out the bed at 5:30? Like you up at 5:30, but did you finally get up out the bed? Yes? Okay, good. Today was a good day. You didn't yesterday? Oh my gosh, you got to start over. We need people that are going to hold you accountable. They are called accountability partners. Find you some accountability partners. And tell these accountability partners, I no longer want to sleep my life away. I want to do what I was intended to do. Because if you're just idly sitting by, chopping it up with people, and you're not pushing yourself into those goals and dreams, if you're going to a job every day, but you have a purpose that's different from your job, and when you get home, you don't even have enough energy to do your purpose, but you do your job extremely well, we find ourselves in the Rip Van Winkle effect, in that Rip Van Winkle reflection, because the overwhelm starts to come. So let's figure out a way not to be in overwhelm. Yes, Tamika says sometimes we daydream and think so much we get in our own way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's the Rip Van Winkle reflection. We've allowed ourselves to sit in this daydream instead of pushing ourselves forward. I knew it was bad for me. I told my counselor, look, hey, this daydream feels like, I think I like it more than real life sometimes, which means I just sit there in it. Lord. Whew. Y'all, sorry about that. So as an aside, I have this new alarm clock app on my phone, and it's set to wake me up every morning at 5:25. And it says things like at 6:20, it'll go, hi Tanoa, you have an alarm set for 5:25 a.m. To accomplish that, we think you need to go to bed at either 6:30, 8:30, or 10. It's like, what? What? 6:30? Who goes to bed at 6:30? I don't even sleep, lady. But anyway, or man, I think it's a lady because I have my Siri set up as an Australian woman. So, but anywho, but yeah, so that's the message today. That's the message today. The Rip Van Winkle reflection. Do not allow your talents to idly sleep by. I gotta show y'all my Santa too that I painted. But do not allow your talents to be idle. Allow your talents to come forth. Find you some accountability partners to help you stay on track. And if they start pushing you, don't think of it as nagging. Let that belief go. We get upset sometimes and well, you keep saying, I heard you, I heard you, I heard you, I'm going. Don't get mad at them because they see greatness in you. Don't get mad at them because they see what you see, but because you can't see how to make it come to pass, you get upset. I just told someone this the other day. I said, oh my gosh, I feel like with this nonprofit and everything that I'm doing, all this greatness that I'm doing, I'm starting to get a little because I don't see how it's going to come to pass. But that's none of my business. I just need to keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And because it's been spoken into the universe for me to do this, it's going to continue to come forth. But whoo, child, you can get overwhelmed. You can get overwhelmed and then you want to sleep 20 years. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. So that was it. That was it today. That was it. Thank y'all for stopping in and coming by. And I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I was asleep. Didn't even know I was going to sleep. I think I slept more that night than I slept in a whole week. Jeez. Who gave me something to drink? But anywho, y'all have the most amazing holiday ever. Because Christmas is coming. My favorite time of year. I haven't even sang today, but I'm going to end this singing. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Hey, and for some people, it's not. So let me just say, being a mental health professional, I have to say this. If you are watching or if you have glanced by and this is not the most wonderful time of the year for you, and you find yourself more stressed than ever, or even in the position where you think that this world would be better without you, please reach out to somebody. This, from a mental health perspective, the season that we're in now is the most stressful time. It is the most, it is the time where more suicides are committed, more depression, more people go on to psychiatric holds than ever before. And that is because we have an idea on the inside of our minds as to what life is supposed to look like. And when it doesn't match, when there's that disconnect in the match, then our brains kind of fall apart a little bit. And for some people, it's a lot bit. So if you are in a position to where you need to reach out to somebody or you need somebody in your corner, please reach out to somebody. Send me a message through Facebook, through Instagram. Oh, Instagram froze. I got to say it again. So send me a message through Facebook or Instagram if you have found yourself in that position and you just need somebody to talk to. Do not slide into my DMs. I'm not going to appreciate that. Like, not at all. I won't. But you can slide in if you need some help, but not to try to, nothing else. All right. Is that clear? Is that clear? Nothing else. All right. I got a lot going on right now. I don't need to be trying to field DMs, and I don't even know what a DM is. But yeah, I know what it is, but I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand that. And that's the thing. We have that much confidence in ourselves that we could slide into somebody's DM, but we can't slide into our own life. Come on, y'all. We got to get it together. Get it together. Yeah. Okay. So reach out to somebody if you need to. Beware of the Rip Van Winkle reflection. Don't allow yourself to sleep through life And once you wake up to the fact that that is what you have been doing, don't allow yourself to continue. Don't be Rip Van Winkle. Change. He didn't change. The moral of that story is change is going to come, and it will place a high demand. It will place a high demand on your life. And you have to be willing to pay the price in order to have the life that you are intended to have. Because if you believe what they say, and that our names are written into the holy scriptures forever, then don't you want yours to say that you came here and did what you were intended to do, and that you didn't look for the fleshly reward, that you really want the purpose reward? I hope I'm on the right track now. I hope I am. I hope you are too. So anyway, have a holly jolly Christmas. And in case you didn't hear, oh my golly, have a holly jolly Christmas this year. Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, happy all that stuff. Just happy. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy now. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all next Sunday. That is right. Yeah, it's the Sunday before the new year. So I will see y'all next Sunday. I hope you guys are well, and I will talk to you soon. Stay awake, stay woke. Bye. At the end. End.